Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni, the Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo. Now, let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Buhari excited by new banknotes, says enhanced security features would make counterfeiting difficult. Maintains initiative will facilitate monetary policy objectives. Emefiele, EFCC, ICPC to monitor massive bank withdrawals. Reveals 165 billion naira of old banknotes returned. Insists anchor borrowers program not exposed to floods. Warns against hoarding arbitrage amid food shortage. Well, the celebration, some are saying it's not a redesign, but recoloration. But whatever the government called it redesign, but what most Nigerians can see is the recoloration. But the explanation there, that there are new security features in this banknote, tells one that some work has actually go into the redesign, except that the color change seems to be what will catch the eye immediately. Security features you are not likely to see with the eyes. And of course, for obvious reasons, the CBN is not going to disclose all the security features in the new notes. 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira. Of course, to withdraw so much cash that is in people's rooms, some sockaway pits specially dug for keeping money, all that will have to come out. And within the stipulated period, we hope there will be no unnecessary rush. But the security agents will also be on the lookout. If you are coming with a huge funds, perhaps in bullion van, to come and deposit in the bank, you will have to answer a few questions. And that in itself is one of the reasons why this redesign, recoloration is necessary, because so much of money in circulation is out of the banking system. Now, other newspapers are also reporting the story. CBN rally support for cashless economy unveils new note. The Guardian newspaper is reporting there. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, why I approve redesign of Naira locally, Buhari, why Naira has not been redesigned in 19 years. Emefiele adds, we are yet to receive large deposits, says only 165 billion Naira received as at last Friday. Warns there will be no deadline extension. Now, other stories, if we just go back to these day newspapers, yes. The story above the masthead, the window story, INEC vows to end vote buying, violation of campaign finances, identifies 4 critical areas of concern to Nigerians, insists no more use of incident forms, declares beavers irreversible. British High Commissioner explains why 2023 polls are important. House steps down motion condemning attacks on INEC office. Now, INEC insisting that, well, beavers has come to stay, and that is what will be used for the 2023 general election. But if we go to the Vanguard newspaper, above the masthead, also 2023, the Vanguard newspaper, APC kicks against deployment of beavers IREV. Yes, the chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, yesterday, in audience with the British High Commissioner, clearly said that he doesn't believe that INEC has the capacity to transmit results electronically from every part of the country, even when the electoral umpire, has said it has the capability and it is doable. So APC will just have to get used to the fact that BVAS has come to stay, IREB has come to stay, INEC result system that takes the result immediately into INEC portal, from where Nigerians can view the results as they pour in from various locations. Of course, the election, the polling will end at the same time. Collation will, counting of results will take place, and immediately it will be transmitted electronically via BVAS into INEC portal, from where Nigerians can follow the election results as they come in. Now, if we look at the Punch newspaper, Paris Club refund, governors top deductions, consultants head for French court. Governors will end up embarrassing Nigerians after overseas court ruling. Consultant, states won't allow illegal payments to consultants despite DMO promissory note, NGF, the Nigerian Governors Forum. This matter has been on for quite some time. Governors saying that the amount being due, supposedly due, to the consultant is unacceptable. And they don't believe that the consultants have earned the amount of money being paid to them. And that matter, the consultants are saying they'll be going to court outside the country, but we'll follow that story, the development, and see how it unfolds. Now, the Nation newspaper, electricity crisis, governors reject sale of 10 power plants. NGF insists on legal solution to $418 million Paris Club refund fee row. Now, above the masthead of the Nation newspaper, I'm sure this is one story that will interest the central bank governor. Bandits demand new Naira notes to free abducted victims. Yes, the redesigned Naira notes, one of the measures meant to checkmate those who carry cash to bandits' den. But now the bandits seem to be one step ahead, and they are already asking for new notes as ransom. What will happen? Well, the CBN said a lot of security features in this Naira that will enable them to track the Naira. We hope they will also take note, because like China Achebe, who said, Eleke the bird, who said since hunters have learned to shoot without missing, Eleke the bird also has learned to fly, a naked bird, to fly without perching. The bandits seem to be one step ahead. They're already, even before the commencement of the change, they're already demanding for their ransom in new notes. We'll see how the security agencies will track and follow those bandits. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, Malami, federal government has recovered $1 billion looted phones since 2015. Over 3,000 persons convicted for graft. FE approves new anti-corruption strategy document 2022 to 2026. Says government disappointed at budget padding revelations in National Assembly. Yes, of course, this issue of budget padding. The Daily Trust newspaper, if we can just have that on the screen. The Daily Trust newspaper, yes. Finance Minister on the spot. Over 424 billion naira padded. How is this happening? Somebody should be held responsible. There's a budget office. How come you have duplication of contracts, of projects getting into the budget presented to the National Assembly? Well,
I'm sure at this rate they will blame the Excel spreadsheet.
Well, they can't blame anybody. Somebody has to be held accountable. The foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of London, Britons told how to save energy. Yes, Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor, said all households had a responsibility to cut energy use by as much as 15% in order to stop Britain from being blackmailed by a certain Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. And how are they going to do that? By turning down the boilers, switching off radiators in empty rooms, and taking showers instead of baths. Yes. Then the New York Times, relentless toll as gunman kills 6 at Walmart. Again, another mass shooting in the U.S. The third in recent times. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
And you wonder why the Republicans and the National Rifle Association are still pushing, for the right to be able to have assault rifles, when they're trying to put those caps on the kind of guns you can carry. They're saying no to it. But at the same time, gun violence keeps going on, and people have rifles that can shoot multiple bullets, multiple rounds, and they can kill multiple people at a certain time. So I think for those that push the narrative that, you must have a gun, or for those like the NRA, the National Rifle Association, I said the way to get a bad man with a gun is a gun in the hands of a good man. And because of that, they don't say the narrative. I think they should check their conscience when they see things like this. But anyway, they're never going to change. I'm not sure Sandy Hook made them change. Sandy Hook Elementary School killing made them change. I'm not sure St. Bernardino made them change. And if Sandy Hook, St. Bernardino, and Litany or Columbine shootings didn't make them change, I'm not sure this is going to make them change. In fact, I'm just going to say, what's the death toll? Just 6 people. But I think America should sort out this problem. You took a story that I really want to talk about. I think what INEC should do is to be able to reassure people as regards technology. And please, let's not discountenance the push by the APC chairman, Adamu, to talk about how effective will it be to transmit the result. I might not totally buy the idea when he says, it's impossible to transmit the result, but INEC should also show us the science. INEC has come out to say, there's not going to be incident form and things like that. They believe the tech should work. But can we truly trust the tech of INEC? That they've not been able to reassure us. Because
INEC in Ekiti, in Anambra, in Osun.
Those are one-cycle elections. But you remember even what happened in Osun now? There were cases where it was people at the polling unit that said, okay, take my own data, all right, to send out those results. Or take my own phone network to send out those results. We had those descriptions because the people insisted that, okay, take my own phone network, send out those reports. There were some polling units that the INEC official said, no, that we can't send the results out as at this point and transmit them. And the people said, no, take my own network to do it. So INEC should be able to assure us of that diligently. Because yes, we want the technology to work. Because I think the game changer of this election, and I keep saying for them, like, kudos to President Muhammadu Buhari for signing this into law, is the fact that we can have technology. Most of the election manipulation, apart from vote buying, is normally done at collation. But this, if you are putting it on the portal, you're eliminating that collation magic that happens, that mumbo jumbo. We all remember the case of a certain man that became governor. That when collation was going on, the INEC official was shouting that I'm under duress reporting these results. And we all know the result, what was it before, and how with duress they were able to change it to announce to favor somebody else. And when they took the case to court, we all saw that the senator was allowed to stand. So they have eliminated all of that.
Every budget cycle,
yes,
the National Assembly comes forward to say, there has been padding. The budget has been padded. They've added things that the MDAs did not submit. This time around, we've been told that money has been added to Ministry of Defense, it's been added to the National Universities Commission, and the Ministry of Finance,
humanitarian
and the Ministry of Finance is saying it has not added anything. What everybody should remember is that the budgeting process is a proposal. That's why it's called the appropriation bill. The National Assembly has the responsibility to do oversight, and you don't do the oversight in terms of the bulk amount. There is what they call line-by-line breakdown. Yeah. So it is the duty of the lawmakers to take a look at those line-by-line projections. And even if that bill is approved as is or whatever, without all this distraction about padding, what is important at the end of the day is budget performance and what is delivered. And for a government that runs an envelope system, there's even no guarantee that certain, of those details will be cash backed. So all this noise about padding is just that some people are lazy. They don't want to do their job. Just look at the details and sort out those details. That's number one.
No, a situation where over 200 billion appeared in humanitarian Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, and the minister said, I don't know anything about this.
The meaning of the line-by-line details is that the particular agency that is asking for it will come and defend it. Then if they say they don't know about it, then it's not part of the budget. That's why it's a proposal. That's why it's a proposal. Well, that's for them to investigate. So we have been in this country where there have been different versions of bills being presented before the National Assembly. So which version are they looking at? They should do their work. They should do due diligence instead of going to the media, to make noise about a bill that is still before them for consideration. Second thing, the CBN governor says that they are going to reduce the volume of cash in circulation with regard to 500 naira, 200 naira, 1,000 naira. Okay, what happens? I'm just raising this as a poser. To those businesses that depend on large volume of cash, particularly small-scale businesses. Some of them don't necessarily go to the bank immediately. They depend on a high volume of cash. Okay, on another hand, maybe jocularly, what then happens to people who carry lorry loads of cash to go and spray at parties on weekends? It means that they won't have access. They won't have access.
I can assure you.
I'm joking about that.
But I can assure you that those people will be the first to get this new Naira note.
Well, you're correct.
It will not be a status symbol at parties to spray new Naira notes. Recall that when we are battling with dirty notes, people sell brand new notes at parties.
It becomes a status symbol.
And third thing, what is the guarantee? Because when the president was making his statement, he said, this will guarantee that we'll get clean, crisp notes and all that. For how long are we going to get those clean, crisp notes? Are we, as was the case previously, going to be seeing those clean, crisp notes at weekend parties, at event centers, rather than from the banks? Because the Nigerian banks are among the few ones in the world that give us dirty notes. When you go to the banks never have crisp notes.
No, Ruben, but
I hope that will not happen this time around.
The question we should be asking, now we are going to have new notes. How come we dirty our notes? Manhandle our currencies? That is the question.
Under the CBN.
That's what we should be asking, because everything coming out brand new notes.
Yes.
Then in the short time they'll be dirty.
So side by side that, I believe that there has to be a campaign, a strong campaign on the pride of the Naira, because irrespective of how much, if you give out the new notes like you mentioned, you see them at parties, but you still see people who squeeze, the market women who squeeze.
And even some people, especially women, putting it in places where you have sweaty.
Especially women.
No, various. What are you suggesting?
Various.
Where are you saying they put the money?
No, Doctor.
Are you suggesting
the sweaty parts of the body?
All right. Okay. So on the new Naira notes, I just wanted to speak to the report around the bandits now requesting for new Naira notes, and it's funny and worrisome because. The truth is, one of the reasons that the CBN gave for the redesigning of the Naira notes is to curb these kinds of incidences, and then to find out, like you said, that they are one step ahead. It shows that there's a bigger problem. It is not only about redesigning new notes that will tackle security issues in Nigeria. This has just exposed that. That's not the only thing that is. If we do not take a hard stance against banditry, kidnapping, and have a holistic, tight, response to this, redesigning the Naira notes won't do anything. In fact, another report I read says that they are now asking for foreign currency. So what you're doing is that you're making it more difficult for the family and loved ones of people who have been kidnapped to find the resources for ransom. We shouldn't even be having a conversation around ransom, around how much money. We should be having a conversation on how we're ending this and how we're putting a stop to this. And finally, just to talk about the energy crisis, energy crisis in the UK. and the cutting energy usage by 15%. What a fine time for that to be asked. Winter. You're asking people to cut down on the usage of energy in winter, and and it's November now. By December, January, it's going to get even colder. It is, again, I don't know, the response is not, that is just a surface level response. Unfortunately, it will be very difficult for people to adhere to it. On the other hand, people don't even have money to afford to, use more energy. So perhaps,
I thought that the purpose about that is to provide mass education about how you use electricity, how you manage and balance, your needs and the costs. So if you switch off lights at times when you don't necessarily need light.
In rooms,
so it's about it's mass education about how you manage. And I think we need that education also here in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, some people think that electricity is something you can just put light in every room, even rooms that are not in use.
Until you live in a service estate, then you'll be the light crusader turning off power.
As it is in the UK, the costs of electricity teaches you the education already. Nobody needs to remind you because virtually you can't waste it because at first the tariffs are so high. At least in a day for a small bedroom, one room, but you can use close to 3-4 pounds, and depending on the contract you have, in some cases.
Well, but it's the responsibility of government and also of GEN to continue to educate the people. Not so.
Yeah, but just to draw attention, one of the things INEC also talked about yesterday is campaign financing.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier.
Yes, that today they're going to come out with a guideline on campaign financing. So we'll be looking out to that guidelines and see how INEC will hold the parties, the candidates responsible if they are overshooting.
But the Electoral Act already covers that, as I pointed out earlier.
No, but in the implementation now, enforcing the law is what INEC is talking about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.